Hi everyone, this is Sarfraz from Aristotle Prep and we are looking at question number 28 from the OG 13 critical reasoning chapter. This is a bold-faced question that we are looking at. So we will first read the argument, then we will try to predict as to what is the connection between the two bold parts or what role they are playing in the argument, and then we will go to the options. So the argument says, last year, a record number of new manufacturing jobs were created. Will this year bring another record? That's a question which I think the argument will now try to answer. Well, a new manufacturing job is created either within an existing company or by the startup of a new company. Alright? Within existing firms, new jobs have been created this year at well below last year's record pace. So new jobs fewer new jobs have been created this year in new companies. At the same time, there is considerable evidence that the number of new companies starting up will be no higher this year than it was last year. And surely the new companies starting up this year will create no more jobs per company than did last year's startups. So you see, it said there are two ways of creating new manufacturing jobs, either within an existing company or by starting a new company. And in the subsequent two sentences, it kind of says that in both of those cases, the number of jobs created this year will be less than those created last year. The second bold part is partly saying that. Sorry, the first bold part is partly saying that. Clearly, it can be concluded that, so the second bold part is now giving you the conclusion of the argument. And the conclusion obviously has to be that this year fewer jobs will be created. Let's read it, but. Clearly, it can be concluded that the number of new jobs created this year will fall short of last year's record, as I said. So that is the argument for you. It's a simple argument. For a bold-faced argument, it's quite simple. So if I have to make a prediction, the second bold part clearly is the conclusion of the argument, and the first bold part provides you evidence which supports the conclusion. That is basically our prediction. With that thought process, if we look at the options, A says, the first is a prediction that, if accurate, would provide support for the main conclusion of the argument. Absolutely correct. The second is that main conclusion. Perfect. That actually should be the answer. So the second option says, the first is a prediction that, if accurate, would provide support for the main conclusion of the argument. That's correct. The second is a conclusion drawn in order to support that main conclusion. That's absolutely wrong. The second is the main conclusion. C says, the first is an objection that the argument rejects. Totally wrong. It is not an objection that the argument rejects. D says, the first is an objection that the argument rejects. No need to read beyond that. E says, the first is a claim that has been advanced in support of a position that the argument opposes is again wrong. So see, in these three, I did not even have to read the second part. The first part itself is wrong. A is definitely the answer to the question. For a change, it's an easy bold-faced question. I wouldn't give it more than a 3 on a difficulty scale of 1 to 5. Have a nice day.